up with me. Hi everyone, this is your host Dwayne Sue Jardinico. Welcome back to the Wellness Revival series. So today we are gonna talk about letter E. Stands for, you wanna guess? Environment. So as you can see, we're filming the video outside here. I'm braving out 20 degrees to talk to you about environment. So wow, what 48 hours made a difference. What 48 hours made here in the Grand Valley. Saturday it was almost high 70s and now freezing cold. Snowstorm. We had a snowstorm Sunday, so I thought it's very timely to talk about environment. So just 2 days ago, our environment here was so different, and now like it totally changed. It became winter. So environment is everything that is surrounding us. It encompasses everything: the sight, what we see, what we smell, what we taste, or what we hear. And those are the areas that we're gonna talk about environment. And environment is also work environment and home environment. So in other words, it's everything that's outside us. So let's first talk about sight, what we see. So when you're outside walking in a place like this, it's so peaceful, it's so pleasing to the eyes. You see all this greens and the snow, and you know, it looks like cotton candy. It's so peaceful, it's so refreshing, invigorating. Although it's so cold, there's something pleasing. It's something pleasing to the eyes, and that's very therapeutic. So what about inside the house? I think inside the house is also very important, because according to studies, the average American spends more than 12 hours indoors or inside a house, may it be work, inside a building, or inside a house. So what constitutes a good environment inside a house? Not only your decorations or the colors, but it also includes the tidiness, or how clean or how organized your house is. And according to studies, if your house is organized, clean, tidy, and pleasing to your eyes, it reduces your stress level by a great amount. So I know it doesn't happen all the time. There are days that we just can't, we just can't organize things, but this is not talking 24/7. This is talking as much as you can. If you can keep your house organized or decluttered, then it impacts your well-being, and I'm sure you will notice it as well. So another thing are colors, windows, bringing nature inside a house. If you live in a city, if you live in an area where you can't access nature or outside, you could always bring nature inside your house. In what way? Bringing plants inside a house, for example, plants that purifies airs, and plants that detoxifies, and plants that gives colors like flowers. And those are the things that you could also bring in nature inside your house, and that it also impacts positively your well-being. Number 2, we talked about sight, so now we're gonna talk about hearing. Words spoken or sounds heard impacts your health and well-being. Hearing positive words, uplifting words, makes you feel positive as well, right? I mean, do you ever want to hear something negative all the time about you? No, right? Because it doesn't make you feel good. So the same thing is also the words you have spoken. If you always think about negative things and speaking about negative things, not just impacts your brain, but also affects other people as well, people that are around you. Number 3, smell. This might sound weird, but really smell is part of the environment, and everything that we smell as well impacts our atmosphere and our health. Have you ever smelled freshly baked apple pie or pumpkin pie, or wow, apple cider? Even just talking and thinking about it, it makes me feel like it's Christmas, it's fall, Thanksgiving, and it has that uplifting effect on me, and I feel happy when I smell Christmas. What's the smell of Christmas? Smelling that pine needle, and you know, when you go shopping and you smell all those Christmas smell, it has that certain effect. And believe it or not, according to studies, even just lighting a scented candle that is very therapeutic, like pine needle or vanilla, and this is interestingly enough that studies shown that even the vanilla smell creates positive atmosphere. So no wonder why aromatherapy and all these essential oils are so important, and they sell well, right? Because it makes you feel good and it impacts your health positively, specifically spiritual health, emotional health, mental health as well. Well, we're not really gonna talk about bad smell because no one likes it, and it's pretty much self-explanatory. So the next thing that we're gonna talk about is touch and taste. But taste is a big topic because it covers food and environment itself. It's really a huge topic, so that's a continuation, which is gonna be in part 2. So the next thing that we're gonna talk about is touch. As human, we are created to be loved and to love, and power of touch comes with it. Inappropriate touch is what we're talking about here. Even just a simple hug to someone who is depressed, who is feeling down, can change their mood in a single hug. A well-known family therapist, Virginia Satir, talks about, and this is kind of a funny quote. So she said, to survive daily, you need 4 hugs. 8 hugs for maintenance and 12 hugs for personal growth. That's a lot of hugs. But if you think about it, you have a lot of friends before the pandemic. When we see someone that we miss or just friends, like, hello, you know, hug someone. But now with the pandemic, if you live alone or you don't have significant others in the house that lives with you that you can hug, perhaps you might have a pet or someone that is close to you, that you're probably a roommate or, you know, a relative that you could visit and give someone a hug if you can, of course, following the social distancing, not just hug anyone, right? So power of touch. And there's a study done that even infants who are very anxious, the contact of the infant and maternal touch reduces their anxiety by 40%. That's so interesting. Creating a healthy environment and a positive atmosphere also includes reducing, eliminating, or avoiding all the things that is harmful to your health. So in addition to smell, we are talking about chemicals that are not just outside but also inside your house. And this is often something that we don't really notice because sometimes we can't smell them, but there are a lot of odorless chemicals that we use in the household, like household cleaning agents or household cleaning materials that are very toxic. So how can you improve your environment with this? If you have time, or take a minute of your week this week to check under your cupboard or under your sink, what kind of cleaning agents do you have? If you don't know if they're toxic or not, look at the labels and ingredients in the back. So most likely, if there are chemicals or ingredients there that you can't read, you can't pronounce, you can't even memorize, and they compose of gazillion letters, most likely they're the chemicals that you probably should avoid. And what do you do with those chemicals? Well, not necessarily you're gonna throw all of them unless you're really compelled to do so. Finish them, and once you're done, buy an alternative, a better option. And often we don't really like to do that because sometimes they're costly, they take a lot of work, looking for the things that are better, that are natural. But you know, in everything comes with effort, and sometimes long-term benefits are unnoticeable. And even the little things that we do in the house that impacts our environment. And I'm not talking about spending fancy items or spending a lot of money to change your environment, but what is the minimum effort that you can do to make your environment better? Maybe inside a house, your workplace, or outside a house, or even in your bedroom or in your desk. And there's a study that has been conducted by Stanford University that workers who have organized desks have a higher chance to get promoted. And that doesn't mean that you organize your desk so you can get promoted. I guess it just meant the study just concluded that workers who have organized desks have a clarity of mind. They were more focused, so they were more productive, and they were able to do more things. And that's why it increases their chance of getting promoted. So there's that one. Have you heard of forest therapy, or do you know what forest therapy is, or forest bathing? So this practice is very popular in Japan, and it's getting popular here in the US too. So what they do actually is they go to the forest where there are trees, specifically evergreen trees. So you walk in the forest, and because studies showed that specific species of trees, especially evergreen pine trees, they release natural compounds called proanthocyanin. Now you don't really have to memorize that because that's kind of like too technical, but these compounds lowers the levels of cortisol, thus lowering or reduces the amount of everyday stress. So isn't that amazing? So no wonder when you go to the forest, especially when there's evergreen like this, oh, that's snow. So these chemical compounds, they release like a certain aroma or a certain smell that you probably can't tell, or you just call it the forest smell. So if you have time, if you have access to this evergreen leaves, crush it a little bit and smell it. Especially the pine trees, they release that specific aroma and scent, and that alone actually creates positive atmosphere and impacts your health positively. So when you get a chance, go outside and literally take time to smell the roses, and not just the roses, but also other flowers and trees. So here's the takeaway message that I wanted to leave you today. What is the minimum thing, one thing that you can do to make your environment better, outside and inside, especially inside your house? So I hope this is helpful to you. And next time we'll talk about part 2, which is taste, what we eat. So I will see you next time. Bye. E is for environment.